is simple.
Just a few things we've seen on Twitter. Lisa Clancy weighs in saying that if St. Louis Public School suit prevails, it could mean the mass closure of 35 schools, meaning charter schools, serving 70% black children. I'm not okay with that. The lawsuit divides people that should be working together for kids, for funding equity, for a better STL for all. Also, people are asking, I believe it may have been the same person on Twitter asking if it has such a history, why did the public school wait so long to file it? Do we know if it had been filed earlier, would it have been such a big deal if it had been filed 1 or 2 years into this process?
Well, it would have been less money, but I mean, it would have been the same principle.
So is there an argument to be made? I think some would make the argument. Are charter schools in some way fulfilling some of the original goals of desegregation?
I think absolutely. I mean, so first off, if you look at the percentage of white students in the district, I mean, the district is struggling because many white students who live in the city don't attend city schools. I mean, the city has about 43% white residents in the city, but nowhere near 43% of the students are white students in the district. If you look over time, the percentage of white students is dropping and dropping. And it's not until recent years when charter schools started enrolling more white students, that means getting people to stay in the city and integrate the schools. They've started to turn the tide, and if you look at the integration of our public schools in St. Louis, the most well-integrated schools are charter schools. And then the second piece of it, looking at the ballot language from this sales tax initiative, it says for the purpose of improving the primary and secondary educational opportunities for the residents of St. Louis. But you'd be hard pressed to say that charter schools don't fit that bill.
I think it's interesting the way Mike Wolf characterized it, and that's the question. Was this money meant to go to the city school system, or was it meant to go on behalf of the city school students? Students who live in the city and go to public schools in the city. Now that definition has changed. It wasn't, then it was just district schools, now it's district and charter schools. That seems to be the central question.
This is why it's in court. It's you can't figure it out in 30 minutes, I gather.
I had a smile when Bill Douthit was saying yes. And then the final settlement says, well, obviously it wasn't the final settlement.
And obviously people who, so Bill and Mr. Wolf were all in the same room at the same time. Did they ever anticipate this problem?
Not only that, I mean, Bill Danforth, the former chancellor at Washington University, was the one who helped kind of get everybody together. And when I was writing a story about this a couple of weeks ago, I emailed him and I said, what do you think? He said, I never looked that far in the future to figure out what role the charter schools would play. They really didn't enter my thinking. So it's really a case of an old settlement, an old law, and a new landscape.
Dale Singer, James Schulz, we appreciate your time. We have to leave it there, and we'll see you next week. Thank you both.